Yeah. Okay, so I guess today we are going to discuss about the VM and JMS concept. So both are the queues only. So then why we need to use these queues first of all? So for example, if you see any example, queue means first in, first out, right? So usually it will work on based on that concept. So for example, if you go to any movie theater, there is a queue. So in that queue also, if you observe this is the queue, first person will come. So then first person will go outside. First in, first out. Okay. So if four people are coming inside queue, so first who are coming into this queue, that person will come out. In that way, the queue will work usually. So this queue mechanism we can utilize in our MuleSoft as well. Like in which purpose we can utilize this queue to process our data from one flow to another flow. By using this queue, we can process. So for example, this is my application. I have created two flows. Okay, just assume this is the one flow and this is the second flow. I want to transfer my data from one flow to another flow. How can I transfer? So for example, here I have one payload. Okay, this payload I want to print in the second flow. How can I print? Simply by using flow reference, I can call this flow and I can send, right? This is the one way. So if without flow reference, if I want to send, how can I send? So in that scenario, first of all, I'll create a one internal queue. Internal queue I'll create. Okay. So just assume this is the queue. Internal queue I will create. This type of queue I'll create internal queue. So by using VM connector, I'll send the data to this queue first. Okay, I'll send the data to this queue first, and later on I will receive the message from the queue in the second flow by using VM connector only. Okay, so in the VM connector only we have different options. By using these options, we will publish our data to the queue and we will listen the data from the queue. Okay, we will receive the data from the queue. Whatever. In this way, we will publish and we will listen the data from the queue. And here we can process. So here we are using internal queues. We are creating internal queues. It will create in the application level. Same concept, even we can publish our message outside of the application also. Okay, that we will see later. Okay, first we will see this example. How I can send my data from one flow to another flow, we will see. For that, okay, so I'll take one sample application. File, new one. Okay, here you can see VM example. Click on finish. Yeah, VM is some kind of a very interesting topic because so every time you will pass differently. Synchronously will pass data, synchronously also will pass data. Okay. So here I'm already have told you, right? So from this flow to this flow, I will send my data via queues. But while sending my data, I can send my data synchronously and asynchronously also. How I can send synchronously and asynchronously, we'll see. Okay. For example, here even I can create the multiple configurations also. Okay. So here you can see I can change this VM. I can rename. Okay. I can rename this XML also. VM publish. Okay. VM publish. Okay. Okay, this is the VM publish.xml. And I'll create a VM listener also. Okay, VM listener.xml also I'll create. Why it is taking this much time? So from this XML, okay, I'll create one more XML. How can I create this kind of XML? XML means it will create a one convoy, right? So same kind of configuration file I need to create. Like right click on this src main mule and go to new, select the mule configuration file. Here you can write VM listener. VM listener.xml. XML also you should give. So this is the publish XML. This is the listener XML. So I'll create a one flow here. Okay, I'll create a one flow here. How can I create the flow? Very simple, right? Simply I'll drag one HTTP listener. After that, one flow I'll create. Okay. So here I'll create one flow, and in that I'm dragging one HTTP listener and logger. After that, I'm setting some payload here. Okay. Otherwise, if we take some kind of a real-time use case, that then you can easily understand. Mm, so then, okay, some kind of a ticket details you will process. Okay. So for example, we'll take one transfer message. In this, okay, one customer will come and he will book the ticket, right? So then we need to process all these customer details. Okay. JSON customer ID will be there. Something 123. Okay. So something number of passengers. Okay. Number of passengers. Otherwise, first customer age. I'll take customer age also. Customer age something. Uh, Here you can book the ticket, right? So price. Something. And from address. From address HYD. HYD to address. To channel. Here customer name also will be. Okay. Okay. Now I'm sending all these customer details. Like customer hit the request actually. So he submitted all the request. MuleSoft capture the details and processing these details. Okay. So it may some time actually. So it may immediately, if you book the ticket, immediately it will not confirm, right? First it needs to check internally. So whether this ticket is available, seat is available or not, everything it will internally process. For that it will take some time actually. So meanwhile, so end user will not wait, right, until that time. So he will submit all his details. Then immediately he need to get one response. Okay. So I'll tell you what is that and everything. Okay. Slash kind of a book ticket. Okay. Here I can just I want to print this flow name also. How can I print this flow name? Simply control space. Okay. Inside hash square braces, you have to write flow dot name. Okay. Yeah. Good. Flow dot name. Nice. I have to remember the syntax always. Why? Because very important it is. Okay. And after that, I can write anything. Start. So what is this flow dot name meaning? So it will take the flow name. Okay. Which flow name it will take? Current flow it will take. Current flow name it will take and it will process. Here I am setting some messages. Okay. So here, so for example, I'm processing this data. For example, here I'm processing this data. After that, I'm returning like ticket booked confirmed. Okay, ticket book confirmed. That kind of message I can give. But it will take long time. Like it will take 5 minutes or 10 minutes. In between, so then it is very difficult, right? In between, he can't wait that 5 minutes, right, to know the answer, like whether it is booked or not. In that scenario, we will give a one temporary message to the end user and we will process these details internally. Okay, asynchronously. We can process these details internally asynchronously by using queue mechanism. I'll show you how we can utilize that. Okay. So let me first of all, as per our commitment, like first of all, I want to send my data from one flow to another flow by using queues, right? So that we will do first. After that, we'll explain. I'll explain some use case scenario. Okay. So how it will work and everything. So for example, so this is my flow 1. I have some payload here. I want to send this payload to the flow 2. Whereas here I want to send this flow. Okay. How can I send? By using VM I can send, right? By using VM I can send. So for that, first add the VM module to your project. In this VM, by using publish also you can publish. By using publish consume also you can publish. Okay. First I will use the publish. Okay. Publish. Let's see. I'll publish. Okay, VM publish. I can create configuration, otherwise you can leave it also. Okay, no need to configure also. It is not a mandatory. If you want to configure, simply click on add button and click on OK button. That is fine. Otherwise, you can leave it also. So now I'm publishing my data from here. Okay, so in the end of the flow, I'll give some kind of a logger. In that logger, okay, in that logger, I'll give like flow again. Okay, so in this way you have written flow started message, right? I So when I'm writing, I have disabled this fx. So even you can enable the fx and you can write the same kind of a syntax. Okay, flow ended syntax I want to write here. But if you enable the fx, so it will be some different, in a different way you have to write. First enable the fx and flow. Flow, here you can see flow dot name. Okay, flow dot name ended, right? So, 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 so but directly you should not write like this. Okay, so why? Because you are writing within a expression. So how can I write? So then it will consider this is as a string, this is as a string. You need to concat these two strings. Okay, first you should make it as a string. How can I make it as a string? By using double quotes. Okay, ended. Okay. So then now I have two strings. This is the one string within double quotes. Already it is taking this flow name as a string. So I need to concat both things. How can I concat? By using plus plus. Okay. In this way you have to write the syntax. It will show some error, null pointer exists, and it will show. You don't need to worry. Why? Because initially flow name we can consider as a null, right? So null I'm concatenating with this string. So that's why it is showing some kind of a null pointer exception. So you don't need to worry about this error. Okay, yeah, here I'm publishing my data to the queue. So here you can see, okay, let me let me check this queue. Already I have created queue, right? That's why every time I should not click on the add button. Why? Because every time it will create a separate queue. Just I'm edit the queue and I'm checking what is in the queue. Yeah, here I want to give the queue name. I forget to give the queue name. How can I give the queue name? In the queue section, you can see bean references, right? Select this edit inline option. In that, you can create the queue name. Okay, just click on add button. Test queue I can create, or any type of any kind of queue name you can give here. Okay, test queue. So we have two types of queue: transient and persistent. Okay, transient means default queue. Whenever you have redeployed your application, all queue data will remove. Persistent means even if you redeploy your application also, still it will persist your data in the queue. So presently we are going with the transient queue, nothing but the default queue. So it will delete whenever you restart. Okay, click on finish button, your queue will create, and click on OK. So then your configuration is done. All configuration will create in a global elements. Okay, we have three sections, right? Message flow and global elements are configuration XML. In the configuration XML, all code will generate internally. Global element, all configuration will create here. Message flow, all flows will create here. If you open this VM publish, here automatically queue name will populate. Otherwise, you can click on refresh button, then automatically it will populate. Okay. So timeout 5 seconds already there. If you want to increase, okay, 5 minutes also you can increase. Nothing but it will publish the data to the queue and it will wait for 5 minutes. Okay, so you can give any time unit. So my flow is ready. So here I have written even end message also. Now I'm publishing my data to the queue. So that queue will create internally. You cannot see that queue anyway. From that queue you can access your data into the another flow. Okay, how you can access? So by using listener. Okay, by using listener, I can access that data. Nothing but asynchronously it will access. How asynchronously? Whenever the data got published to the queue, here automatically it will listen. Okay, no one needs to trigger this. Automatically it will looking for the queue. If any new message coming into the queue, automatically it will trigger and it will pull the data, it will process. Okay, so I want to process the data to the one destination here. For example, I want to process the data one file. Okay, so here you can see this is the VM listener flow, right? So I'll take one logger. Same here. How I can return here? Same thing in that way. I'll write there also. Control C. Flow name dot started. Here it will take this flow name. Okay, flow name, and here I'll write into the file So file, right, I will use. Okay, so here I need to give some path where I can give the path name. Here I'll give some kind of a folder name. Can write the folder name output. Create a folder. In this output folder I need to write the data. Click here where this folder is located. src main resource output, right? src main resource output dot. Here I can write some kind of a booking details. Dot kind of a XML. I want to save my details in a XML format. Okay, so before if I want to save my data in a XML format, I need to transform the data in a XML format, right? How can I transform the data? So by using transform message we can transform the data. So I'm getting the data right here from the queue. Once I got the data, I need to convert into a XML. So here you need to write application by XML, and if you want to convert your data from JSON to XML, always XML will expect some kind of a root tag. Okay, I'll give the root tag. Customer is the root tag here, and as it is, I'll give the payload. Okay, now you can understand how my data will convert into a JSON to XML. Finally, I will place some kind of end logger. Let's see how it will work. Okay. So here I can write the same syntax, right? Where it is? There is no syntax. Okay, let me copy from here. Flow started date. In this way I can create flow. So here, okay, I can publish my data by using publish and publish consume. I can publish my data. I'll show you both scenarios. Here also I can listen my data by using listener and by using consume also. By using listener also I can listen the data from queue. By using consume also I can consume the data from the queue. Both scenarios we'll see. Okay, let's see first example. First this example we'll see. Okay, I'll save everything. I'll run this application. Okay, in debug mode. Then you can understand. Okay.
Can you go break?
Yes, yes. Yeah, here my application is going to deploy. Once it is deployed, then I'll see step by step. Before that, I'll create some kind of a path. Book ticket is my path. Control C. I'll go to Postman. Book ticket. Let's see how it will work. Okay, otherwise, if you want to send the same details from the Postman also, you can send. Okay, Control X. Payload. So no need to give here as well. I'm sending the same details. Customer will give the details, right? So in MuleSoft, we are not creating the details. Customer will send the details. Who is the customer now? Postman is our customer. So he can send the details. Post he can send his details in JSON format. Now you can see I'm sending my details. So if you are sending from the Postman, definitely you should have double quotes for key value pairs always. In the data view, by default internally it will consider it is as a string, but from the Postman while sending, definitely you should add the string double quotes to make it as a strings all the case. Okay, let's send this request. So then I'm sending all my customer details, booking details, then it will come here, it will publish the details. Internally it will create a queue and it will send to that queue. Already you have created the queue, right? So it will send to that queue, and from that queue in a second listener it will listen that message from the queue and it will process to the file. Before processing file, it will convert into XML format and it will process to the file. Finally it will print the final log. Let's see these things, okay, step by step. So but here you can see the response very carefully, then you can understand. Okay, I'm sending all these customer details, right? In a JSON format I'm sending, just observe. Okay, just on try to remember this. I'm sending my details in a JSON format. I'm sending the request. Now the request will come to here. Click on F6. F6. I'm publishing my data. Okay, even you can check the logs also here. Okay, VM published flow started, VM published flow ended. Okay, if I click on F6, VM published flow ended. Here you can see console. So nothing but this flow completed. Okay, first of all, the request will come here, it will publish the data to the queue, and finally it is ended this flow. Okay, nothing but even it will not expect the response from the queue. Simply it will publish and forget, it will completed the flow. Even you can check the response also. Okay, let me check here. Okay, the request will come here, right? F6, F6. Okay, now you can see the data will convert into a, okay, the data will convert into XML also. Why? Because here I have written some XML logic, right? The data will convert into XML, the data will return into the file, and here still, yeah, already the responses came. Still this flow is in progress, but here you can see the response was came. In a JSON format it is coming. Okay, so just observe very carefully. Here I'm publishing my JSON data. Okay, and it is returning that response to the browser immediately, and after that it is executing. This flow is executing asynchronously. In this flow we are converted into XML and we have written into the file, and after that still this for like this still this flow is in progress, but here in the from the browser you got the response in a JSON format. Okay, so let's click on here. So then let me check whether this file is created or not in XML format. How can I check? Go to the normal mode. Here you can refresh this output folder, otherwise SRC main resource folder also you can refresh. So now the file is created. Here you can see all data will save into the XML format. Okay, here you can see I'm sending in a JSON format, but here it is storing in a XML format. Customer ID, customer name, age, ticket price, from, address to address. Okay, this is the asynchronous way. If you are using VM publish, it will publish and it will forget the response. Even it will not look for the response also. Okay, even it will not look for the response also. Same scenario, if you are using VM publish consume, it will take the response from this other flow, nothing but listener flow. It will take the response from the listener flow. So what is the response? What is our response? Our response in a XML format. That response it will capture in this flow and it will return to the browser. Okay, VM publish means just it will publish. It will forget. VM publish consume means it will publish the request in a JSON format. It will consume the response in a XML format. That same XML response it will return to the browser. Let's see that thing. Okay, so I'll delete this, then you can understand. VM publish consume. Okay, so here Okay, here you can see test queue already configured, everything is configured. I don't need to do anything. Okay, so simply I can here make it as a minutes better. Okay, 5 minutes. Response timeout always should be a 5 minutes. Why? Because 5 seconds means we are running in debug mode, right? At least it will take more than 5 seconds. So then you'll get some kind of a timeout issues. That's why I'm increasing the timeout up to 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, we can complete this example, right? That's why. So again, I'm getting the data. Okay, I'm sending the request. Now you can see. So previously I got the response in a JSON format, right? Here, now see in which format you will get. Okay, I'm sending this data. Now you can see previously immediately VM publish started, and once it is published, VM publish flow ended, right? But here VM publish flow not ended immediately. First, it will go to this flow and it will execute all this flow. After this loggers, then again it will come back to this flow and finally it will print this logger. That is the synchronous way. Now by using VM consume, VM publish consume, we are executing our flow synchronously. You know, right, what is the synchronous and asynchronous? Already we have explained, right? So same thing working here. So here you can see what happened. Why here we have something? What happened? Best you got the response after 5 seconds. Timeout of 5 seconds. Why? Here I think in the listener section also we need to maintain the timeout. Already I have told you, right? I need to make more than 5 seconds. Otherwise you will get this kind of errors. Okay. Let me reapply this application with 5 minutes. Publisher side you have to give 5 minutes, and listener side also you have to give 5 minutes. Okay, this is the publisher side. Okay, I think it was changed. I don't know how it was changed. Okay, so definitely you should maintain publisher. Again, it is coming to this seconds only. Why? Okay, I'll go to the normal mode and I'll edit. That's why it is giving this error. Still wait. Yeah, 5 minutes. Okay, this is the publisher. I have 5 seconds again. Why it is coming again 5 seconds? 5 minutes here, 5 minutes. Okay, everything is fine, right? 5 minutes. Okay, I'm saving these changes. Save all. Nothing but it will save all your XMLs. Control S also it will save, means only this XML only. If you click on save all button, it will save all your XMLs. Whatever you have in a application, it will save all your XMLs. And this is the save button, only it will save the current XML. If you want to save all XML at a time, click on save all button. Okay. Okay, so let me reapply this. This time you can see I'm clearing the console. I'm sending the request. Okay, sending the request. Now it will execute in a synchronous way, right? So where is that console? What happened? Okay, it came but it's disappeared. So it is coming here. Now you can see. Okay, started. Okay, VM publish flow started, and again it will go to this flow. So here you can see this message will print. Okay, VM listener flow started now. VM publisher flow started. Still VM publisher flow not ended. Why? Because we are executing in a synchronous way. So then it will convert into XML, it will write into a file. After that, VM listener ended. Okay, first VM publisher started, after that VM listener started and VM listener ended. Again finally VM publisher will end. Okay, now you can see VM published will end. So this is the synchronous way. Synchronous way means the logs will execute one by one. First it will execute, then after that internally it will go here, it will execute these two loggers. Finally it will come back to this main flow. So it will execute the final logger. Okay. So now even you can see the response in XML format. Okay. So in this way you can see the response. And when in the VM publish scenario, so it will publish and it will forget. Okay. So synchronous way, how can I assume, like for example, synchronous way means whenever you book the ticket, okay, whenever you book the ticket, you will send your details and it will go to the queue, it will go to the another flow. So just here, just assume this is the booking process. Once this booking process is completed, in the end of the flow, I can return one message. Okay, here in the end of the flow, I can return one message. I'll go to the design mode. So just assume. Okay, just assume I'm returning one message is like ticket confirmed. Okay, some kind of a message I can write here. Okay, so ticket confirmed. So this message I'm writing in a end of the flow, nothing but once this process is completed. So then if this ticket is available, then it will return, then we are printing this message, ticket is confirmed. So in this scenario, you have to execute in a synchronous way. Why? Because first it will send the details, it will go into the book, after that it will return to this message. So then we need to wait. If this process will take 5 minutes, you need to wait 5 minutes here. Okay, then only you will get that confirmation. Then you can send back to the customer, end customer. Okay, I'm saving all this. So then now you can understand very clearly. Okay, so here I'm sending the request. Now you can see the request will come here. Okay, so now here also you can see the logs message. Here you can see log message. This one printed, publish started, and it is going to the second flow. It will process to the file, and now you got the message ticket confirmed. Okay, so then I'm sending back to the browser. Now you can see if I'm sending once ticket confirmed, then it will return to the message. Until that time, the user will wait. If this ticket processing time, if it is taking 5 minutes, user needs to wait 5 minutes, then only he will get the response. Otherwise always he is seeing like processing only, right? So instead of that, whenever you submit the details, immediately if I send one response back to the end user, that is very good, right? So in that scenario, this synchronous way will not work actually. In that scenario, you have to publish your data asynchronously and immediately you will send back to one message to the browser. Okay, let me check that one also. Okay, here instead of synchronous mode, I want to execute this in a asynchronous mode. How can I execute? By using VM publish. Instead of this synchronous, I'll remove this synchronous. I will send my details asynchronously. Okay, so I'll send my details asynchronously. Here I will add one transform message. Okay, what I will return here? I will return like booking in progress. This message we can return. So nothing but, so for example, I'm just publishing. Okay, I'm publishing the data to this flow. Internally, this flow will process this data. Okay, but like I don't want to wait that much time to complete all this process. Just whenever I publish my data, immediately I will send back one response to the browser. So end user can understand like the ticket details are in process. So then it will take some time. Okay. So then he can't wait that much time, right? If we informed before, then he will not wait. So in that scenario, we will use this kind of a asynchronous strategies. Okay. Let's see. I'll clear the console. I'm sending the request. Now you can see sending the request. It is coming here. It will publish and forget. Okay, immediately it will set one message. Okay, so now you can see immediately it is coming here. So internally the message is processing, but I don't want. Okay, so immediately you'll get one response here. What happened? Yeah, here you can see. Okay, booking in progress. Okay, booking in progress. You can see. Okay, sorry. Okay, booking in progress, right? Booking in progress. Here I can see. I'm going to the debug mode again. F6. Here you can see. Still it is in progress. So here you can see. Okay, now you can understand, right? So the only thing is like synchronous and asynchronous means if you want a response immediately, but internally if you want to process